so impressed with Aimee Barrett-Theron. You know, the way she communicated. And I read an article this morning, they're comparing her with the next Nigel Owens, you know. So that is a big compliment coming from their pundits over there. So well done, Aimee.
I've always thought she was good. You know, I've said it on TV that, you know, the one thing I like about her, she doesn't have an ego. She doesn't get involved and unnecessarily excited towards the players. She stays calm, and the communication for me is good. And the other big thing is that she gets around the park. So it's not like she's 5 yards behind, you know, the breakdown, and she doesn't get there. And for me, that's a sign of a good referee.
This was. I thought she handled this absolutely brilliantly. It was a high hit. But the other player had gone so low that, you know, she was talking it through, starts with a red, goes to a yellow, down, you know, we downplay it. And I thought her handling of the TMO and her assistant refs, the way she spoke to the two captains was absolutely excellent. The one problem, I think, was the last decision she took, where, unfortunately, one of the players was pushed into, was it a Benetton player, pushed into and she then said, you were pushed, but it's still a penalty for taking a guy out in the air. Now, in my view, if you're pushed, you have absolutely no control about where you're going to go after that. So surely the penalty is the initial offence, which is being pushed, and the fact that you've been pushed into another player, you can hardly, you know, you can hardly deserve a penalty for that.
Yeah. Nick, but if I can just jump in there, I mean, that's the one mistake she made in the whole 80 minutes.
Absolutely.
If we look at other referees, how many mistakes did they not make?
No,
you know, so we don't want to sound like we're covering our own refs, but at the moment it just feels like we need to appreciate our referees more. You know, we at times we really go hard at them, but if we compare apples with apples, at the moment our referees are head and shoulders above the rest.
And you know, Ellen Jones was their captain. And she's a young female ref, and he's the Lions captain. He's such an esteemed figure with them, and he tried a few times, and she handled him so professionally.
Yeah.
I thought from the word go, I will take you 6 love today because I've got your number.
Yeah.
And she handled it superbly.
So another point in her favour is that that game, Benetton came back. The Ospreys, I think, were well ahead by probably about 3 tries. And then Benetton scored 3 tries to get right back at 26-all. And she refereed what she saw in those last few minutes, didn't favour home team or away team, and the Benetton crowd was going absolutely mad. So she was under a lot of pressure. You know, Italians are very Latin, emotional, and I thought she handled that incredibly well. There are referees that we've had that I honestly think that they've spent the first 20 minutes of the game only looking at the South African side. And it's not that they don't find fault. It's they find fault only with one team. Yeah. You've got to, when you're watching a breakdown, you've got to look at 50% what they do and 50% what this team does. You can't just look at one team, because referees will always find fault if you just look at one team.